Welcome to the Popish Plot. I'm Mike.
I'm Jessica.
And I'm Nate. Today we are going to be indulgent.
Ooh. Wait, it's Lent.
You're right. Which is why we're going to talk about indulgences.
Oh,
Wait.
that's different.
It's
Wait.
not at all indulgent.
Are those a thing?
You know, I thought the same thing. I remember reading about them in history class.
Yeah.
You know, largely about the Reformation.
I was told that they were done away with.
Yeah.
But then, when I was in high school, we had a priest from Poland.
Ooh.
And every homily was about indulgences. And then at the end of every mass, he prayed a rosary in which all his decades had 11 beads. Like, we were all counting. We were like, I got 11. Did you get 11?
We all got 11.
I know, yeah. And so, every Monday in our English class at the local public high school, all the Catholic kids, which was about half the class, just went and took over the class and went, what was the Polish priest talking about this week?
So, indulgences, still a real thing.
Yes.
Yep.
So I just put my money in and my sins are forgiven, right?
No.
No.
No?
No, that doesn't work on multiple levels.
That's good because I'm both cheap and poor.
Yes, yes. First, there's the fact that it only covers things that you've already been forgiven of.
Ah.
You know, the temporal effects of forgiven sins.
Yeah.
2, just to make sure that, you know, we didn't have the problem of in the past where it looked like you were just paying to get out of purgatory.
Yes. For those
There's none where you put money in a thing and get it.
Yeah.
You
Now,
could have a pilgrimage where, you know, you have to pay to get to the trip, but the whole thing is the pilgrimage is the
that
indulgence.
was always the result of poor catechesis, bad explaining, and even before the Reformation, that sort of sloppiness had already been condemned by the Vatican.
Yes.
Yeah.
I believe
Well, there were some ones who, you know, kind of, you know,
we had an
pushed
episode.
the envelope, but, you know,
I believe we had an episode.
officially never, that was it.
I believe we had an episode some time ago where we were talking about the effects of sin, and we used the analogy of the going in and gambling all the money away.
Yes.
Oh,
Where's
the
my
money.
rent money? You still haven't paid that back.
Exactly. Well, see, the thing about indulgences is it's kind of sort of the paying back of the rent money. Or for those who use the broken window analogy, it's kind of sort of fixing the broken window. The sin has already been addressed, but the effects of that sin.
So, I'm not buying an indulgence, but I can do things like go on pilgrimage.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like go on, what was it, 8 amazing Catholic pilgrimages?
Yeah.
So, what?
But I think for an indulgence, you actually have to go there and not
Yeah.
just, you know.
Not just talk about it. Thank you to all our collaborators.
Just,
So, I can go on pilgrimage. What else can I do to earn an indulgence?
well, I thought, given how it's Lent, A, we need to fill up 40-some episodes.
We're stretching. We're
Yep.
stretching.
Yep. But B, there's a number of
Which is
ones.
why this is indulgences part A.
Indulge us.
No, I'm just kidding.
I did make this multi-part. But I thought we could talk about different ones that you could do that connect with the Lenten practices of, you know, fasting and prayer and,
Almsgiving.
well, no almsgiving. We already established there's no almsgiving based
There's
launching.
no trading in money for indulgences.
All right, fair enough. So, what do we got?
It's kind of a
Well-
simony thing, wouldn't it be?
No, because you're not buying an ecclesial office.
Yeah.
Oh, fair enough.
Well, there are 2 types of indulgences. There's partial, which covers part of it, and there's plenary, which is a complete indulgence. And you
What?
can get an indulgence for yourself or for someone in purgatory.
Ooh.
You can't give it to, you know, your friend for their birthday present. You know, cheap it out. I got this indulgence. Here you go.
So, like, if I've got a relative who's fallen away from the church, I can't get them an indulgence.
Unless they're dead. And you're slightly, you know, realistically optimistic that they, you know, made it to the purgatory level. Although, if they didn't, and you offer this up for someone in purgatory that's not there, you know, either below or above, God will use it for someone else.
I believe that there is no wasted prayer, that the infinite wisdom of the Lord will distribute it as necessary. Yes.
He's probably got an office, you know, the office of blessing distribution.
Okay, so I'm presuming that you probably have to do more to earn a plenary indulgence than a partial indulgence.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what sort of things would I do to get a partial indulgence?
Well, for most of the cases, it's easier to say what the plenary is, because the partial is largely if you just don't fulfill one of these criteria.
Okay.
So, for a plenary, you need to go to confession, which it can be done within a range of days.
Yeah, it's normally like
a week before,
A week or a half
a week or like
on
a
either
week,
side.
Yeah.
Okay.
For plenary ones, you need to go to communion that day, preferably at Mass. There are a number of partial ones that is not a requirement. Just your normal Sunday communion covers it.
So do your thing. Go to communion.
There are very few things more satisfying than going to confession and then Mass immediately thereafter.
Seriously. If you haven't tried it, you should.
I
I highly
highly
recommend
recommend
it.
Third, you need to pray for the intentions of the Pope, which it doesn't have a big complex. You can say like an Our Father and Hail Mary for whatever his intentions are.
You know, we put out a monthly video telling you what those intentions are, but the beauty of this is you don't even need to know what they are. Just say,
You could just
this
say,
is
I'm
the
praying
intentions
for
of
the
Pope."
intentions of the Pope.
I pray with an old Filipino lady who I'm confident does not know what the monthly intention is.
But she's praying for it.
But after the rosary, we pray a few extra Hail Marys for the intention of the Pope.
There you go.
Fourth is you have to actually want an indulgence. You don't accidentally get an indulgence.
This is the tricky bit, because when we're doing these things, how often do we think, I'm going to go to confession so I can get an indulgence? No, it's always just like, I should go to confession because I'm not in a state to receive communion.
I did after the Dyson thing where,
Yeah.
Hop into the confession line about 5 minutes before it was done just because, like, I'm going to confession for the indulgence.
Don't they
Yes, of course.
don't they have a special phrase for that fourth requirement? What do they call it? It's a.
This was an additional than what I wrote down.
Oh, okay. So this is so we're working on 4 out of 5, not 4 out of 4.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you have to.
The last requirement for a plenary indulgence is the reason why you probably won't get.
Is the reason why
plenary
most people
indulgence.
do not get plenary indulgence is
You have to be free from all attachment to sin,
I'm out.
even venial sin.
I'm out.
Which is
So-
why when you don't have that last requirement, you get a partial.
Okay.
which is
Okay.
why when I've had discussions with people who were talking about how unbiblical this is, and it's clearly the
Yeah,
a
you already
working
got to
of
be
man.
a saint in
It's
order
like
to get out.
just so you realize the thing that you're talking about, you have to not need it to be able to get it.
However, if you were a great saint, you could every day get someone else out of purgatory
Boom.
Yeah.
because you could do
You-
one a day, unless again you're at death's doorstep, like many things in which. I'm going to say it's a free-for-all because I'm not a canon lawyer. I'm sure they'd be like, you could actually only get 2 a day if you're at death's doorstep.
Free for all.
So here's my question then, because step 1 was going to confession, at least within a time frame around the event of the indulgence.
Yeah.
But you can get you could in theory get a plenary 1 per day. Would
You
you,
don't
have to go to confession
every day.
So you could actually go and like stack up a good 10, 14 indulgences against one trip to confession.
I'm
if you
sure-
were like a saint, I mean, you'd have to be like super saintly.
I'm sure whoever becomes the patron saint of accounting, if there isn't one, is working those odds.
I'm
But-
trying. I'm really hard.
But even if you don't get the plenary indulgence, there's the fact that things that come with an indulgence tend to help you be more holy anyway.
Things like reading the Bible.
Yes.
For half an hour or longer.
Spending time in prayer or Eucharistic adoration.
Check.
Again, half an hour for the possible plenary.
Hour and a half.
Yes.
Saying that rosary in your group after church.
Thank you, church ladies.
The reason why I thought about this is one of the ones that is easy to get during Lent is going through the Stations of the Cross, where you go through the full 14 stations, and yourself or a representative of the group actually walks from station to station. If you're doing it in the church and it's just the priest and a couple altar servers, everyone doesn't have to follow behind because that's awkward and doesn't work.
Just one of you has to follow behind, so it's less awkward. Now, notice, this is just a personal editorial. Not a big fan of the 15th station. Because of the Stations of the Cross, because let's kind of let's not put the cart before the horse.
Well, that's why you only have to do the 14, traditional before the additional.
Exactly.
There's a 15th one?
Some people do the Stations of the Cross, including the Resurrection.
Yeah.
To me, that seems to defeat the point of Lent.
I don't know if that's
And yet, in a way, it is the whole point of Lent, so it's kind of...
Again, it's just too early.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's not get sidetracked with that.
And if for some reason you are homebound and you're watching us because of that, There are a number of ones where
The Popish plot. We're big amongst the homebound.
there are a number of ones
if you are-
like
if-
these stations of the cross where instead you could meditate on the stations if you could not physically get out to do them.
If you are homebound and you are watching this as part of your religious observances, I
Thank you
suppose?
for watching.
Thank you so much. Please go down below in the comments section and just let us know so that we can pray for you. Because I want to pray for somebody who's in that kind of position. I mean, if they're homebound and we are what they watch for religious-y purposes, may God have mercy on you.
Yes, may I also recommend that there are many churches that do, a mass on TV, or at least the homily and reflections and such.
The Popish plot for religious purposes.
And
I'm just saying.
all right, there was one more I was going to note because it is a time-sensitive one.
Ooh.
It is not during Lent, as we already discussed. The Triduum is not Lent, but if you do Adoration of the Cross during a Good Friday service,
Veneration of the cross?
Yes.
it says Adoration. It was an old one. So.
Okay. Okay.
But yes, I believe
Today-
that's what they're referring
Today
to.
it'd be called Veneration of the Cross.
Yes.
You kiss it, then they do a wipe, and the next person kisses it.
Except for we decided that the wipe just spreads the germs, so
Yeah.
Or you
we're
touch
just gonna
it, you
really
put your
pray
hand
that
on it
no one
and
gets
Just,
sick.
just take some airborne, you'll be fine.
You can just touch it.
So if
You can find the weirdest place. It's fun, Father
So-
Deacon's holding it, and you're like, what if I did this? No one's touched here yet.
So if you participate in the veneration of the cross on Good Friday,
Yes.
Yeah.
hey, I do that every year. But again, the complete detachment from sin bit.
It's,
Yeah.
it's,
But you
that's
can be
the
attached
tricky
from
bit.
sin and still get the partial indulgence. But you have to
Loophole.
you have to be planning on getting the indulgence.
I will try to be more conscious of that. So, indulgences. Still a thing. Still a great thing.
Hopefully, if you
Usually
had
involving a lot of churchy stuff.
That's
hopefully,
good.
hopefully, if you had questions about this subject, we've at least given you enough material to not be questioning it quite so much.
Or to have even more questions.
For religious purposes and churchy stuff.
I'm just saying. She's the one who brought up the idea that somebody was watching us because they're homebound.
I'm just saying.
And yet we
a
indulged
number
her.
of them have, the if you can't do it.
If you're unable to physically do the thing, you can still
Yes.
do the thing.
And if you are watching us because you are homebound and you feel that you need more religion in your life,
Why are you watching us?
God bless you. God have mercy on you. Please let us know so we can pray for you.
And please
Or get
pray
someone
for
else
us.
to pray for you. Get someone much better at the praying for you.
We're good at religious purposes and churchy stuff.
We are.
So, having commented below, remember to come back tomorrow when we'll be bringing you another fantastic vLent episode full of churchy stuff and religious purposes. Until then,
Remember to live your faith.
Love your faith.
share that love. Indulgences, yo.
Seems like a lot of work.
Seems a lot of work for the remission of my sins.
I know. Alright, we clearly went too late in filming and got a
No,
little slap.
that was perfect. That was perfect.